you have gone through the questions in the assignment number 1, and we'll be discussing some of those questions in class today. But before that, we will be starting with some additional concepts in theory and formulae related to vectors. So what we had seen last time is the geometrical representation of a vector and the component algebra representation of a vector. So we had seen that when we represent a vector geometrically as an arrow in the xy plane, such that the length of the arrow represents the magnitude of the vector, and the direction in which the arrow points is actually the direction in which the vector acts. So we also saw that in that case, when we represent it in component algebra, the x component becomes the magnitude. The magnitude of the vector is capital A, and the angle with respect to the x-axis is theta. So we saw that we can represent the x component as E cos theta, the y component as A sin theta, and accordingly the vector can be represented as Ax I cap plus Ay j cap. Okay. Now consequently it also means that if we know the components Ax and Ay, then by squaring and adding these two equations, we can show that the magnitude of the vector will become square root of Ax square plus Ay square, and the angle made with respect to the x-axis will become such that tan theta is equal to Ay by Ax. So these two additional formulae one can understand either by deriving them from equation 1 and 2, or by just looking at this triangle over here. You can see that in this triangle this is Ax and this is Ay. So this is a right angle triangle in which perpendicular is Ay and base is Ax. So from that also you can understand these two formulae. So the interchangeability of these two becomes important. If we know the vector in terms of magnitude and angle, we can use equation 1 and 2 to find the components. On the other hand, if we know the components of the vector, then we can use equations 3 and 4 to find the magnitude and the direction. That is the thing. Okay. Now next thing we'll start with today, which again most of you are familiar with, but it will be like a revision, is addition of vectors. So in terms of addition, we will see how to add vectors using geometry, or what is called the triangle law of vector addition, as well as using component algebra. Okay, so the first method we will learn is by triangle law. And according to the statement of triangle law, if two vectors are such that the angle between them is theta, so magnitude of the vector A is given by capital A, magnitude of the vector B is given by B, and this time theta is not the angle with the x-axis, but theta is the angle between the vectors A and B. Okay, then the resultant sum of the vectors A and B, that is A plus B, can be calculated by solving the vector triangle for A plus B. So how do we construct the vector triangle for A plus B? So to construct the vector triangle, what we do is the vectors A and B themselves are drawn head to tail. That is, we draw the vector A, and then from the head of vector A, the vector B is drawn. So to construct the vector triangle, okay, first draw the vectors A and B consecutively, that is one after the other. Okay. Head to tail, like this. So in other words, draw the vector A, and then from the head of vector A, draw the vector B, so that this angle here is theta. Okay. Then the third side of the triangle formed by A and B, that is the vector from the origin of A to the head of B, becomes the resultant sum. So now in this construction, if we draw this vector to complete the triangle from the origin of A to the head of B, then this particular third vector will become the sum of A and B, and the angle it makes with respect to A, suppose we denote it with the symbol alpha, okay, then the magnitude of that sum is given by the formula this, and the angle is given such that this is the case. Okay. So these two formulae constitute the triangle law formulae for sum of vectors A and B. Okay. So this is going to become an extremely important operation for us. Okay. So just make a note of this, and then we will understand this with some more examples. So you need to memorize these formulae, and you need to understand the construction of this vector triangle also. So just make a note of this part. Okay, so hope you finished writing this down. So let us look at an example to understand its application better. So given vector E has a magnitude of 10 units and B has a magnitude of 30 root 2 units, and the angle between the two vectors is 45 degrees. Theta is equal to 45 degrees. Then draw a vector triangle to represent the sum or addition of them and find the magnitude of A plus B and the angle made by the resultant E plus B with respect to the vector E. Okay, so let us understand this question in detail. So first of all, we have to understand that these vectors are of magnitudes like this, and the angle between them is 45. And so if we were to just draw the vectors A and B alone, if A is a vector, suppose in this direction, of magnitude 10, then we can represent the vector B as a vector in this sort of direction, of magnitude 30 root 2, so quite a bit more than A, but such that it's making an angle of 45 degrees. Okay, of course we could have made B here also, making an angle 45 in the opposite sense, but here just for convenience we have chosen it like this. Okay, so these are the vectors A and B. So how will the vector triangle look like now? So as far as the vector triangle is concerned, remember, to find the sum of A and B, we have to draw A and B consecutively, that is one after the other. So we will draw the vector E, and from the head of the vector A we will have to construct the vector B. So vector B will have to be drawn like this, immediately after vector A and at an angle of 45 degrees. So vector B is, let's say, this one. And then the resultant sum of A and B let's say resultant is denoted by R. So here R equal to A plus B. We sometimes use the symbol R because it is called the resultant. Okay, so resultant means the same thing as sum of the vectors A and B. So that becomes this one. Okay, and this becomes alpha. So this does this job. We have drawn the vector triangle that represents the sum of the vectors A and B. Now to find the magnitude and the direction, we have to use the formulae. So we know the formula of mod A plus B is root of A square plus B square plus 2ab cos theta. So that is where we substitute all these things. So mod of A is 10, mod of B is 30 root 2. So 2ab and theta is 45. So this formula will have to be expanded now. So as you can see, this becomes 100 plus 1800, because that's 900 into 2 plus 2 into 10 into 30 root 2. Sorry, this is root 2 and not root 3. Into cos 45. So cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Okay, so that's 100 plus 1800 plus, you can see this will become root 2 will cancel out. So we have again 300 into 2. So that's 600. That becomes square root of 2500, which is 50. So magnitude of A plus B becomes 50. And of course we also have the formula that tan alpha is equal to B sin theta upon A plus B cos theta. So again, numerator denominator will have these values. So that, as you can see, is 30 root 2 into 1 by root 2 upon 10 plus 30 root 2 into 1 by root 2. So once again the numerator becomes 30, the denominator becomes 10 plus 30. Okay. And we have seen last time that tan alpha is 3 by 4 implies that alpha is 37 degrees. So that solves the second and third part. So this is what you have to learn to do when it comes to addition of two vectors by triangle law. So please make a note of this carefully and understand each and every step. Okay, people, so hope you are clear with this application. So I'll just give you a couple of more examples to solve. Okay, just try this question out, people. Then we will discuss the next part. So work out the magnitude of a plus b and the angle made by the resultant with a in each case, and send me the answers you're getting in the text messages. I'll verify it for you. Yes, Soham, the first part is correct for you. Both magnitude and direction are correct. Good. Anybody else got the answer for the first part? Okay, that's fine. So, Parthvi and Nadeep, you got the answers correct for the first part. Okay. Okay. So, I'm just putting up the answer for the first part for all of you to refer. Getting this as 20 root 3 units, and the angle made should become 30 degrees. Okay. So hope rest of you are also trying this out, and you have to learn how to apply the formula correctly and work it out. Okay. That is something you will get with practice only. So please make sure that you do the pen work and work it out on pen and paper and get it correct. Anyone got the second part yet? Okay, so I'll just work out the first part here. So when you substitute in the formula, uh, no, Nadeep, I think you made a calculation mistake in the second part. Just check once. You can give me the answer in square root form only if you like, fully. Okay, then I'll. So this is your magnitude of a plus b in the first part. And tan alpha is b sine theta upon a plus b cos theta. So in the denominator, if you take 20 common, so I have root 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2, which means that tan alpha is 1 by root 3, which means that alpha is 30 degrees. Okay, so that is the solution to the first part. Yes, now it is correct. Nadeep, now your answer is correct for the second part, that is. Okay, so second part, you should be getting magnitude of a plus b as 50 root 3. Okay, and you should be getting the angle alpha as 90 degrees. So for the second part, use the relation that cos 120 is minus cos 180 minus 120, or minus cos 60, so that is minus half. So one is use this, and for the second part you'll also need sine 120, so that will become positive of sine 60, or positive of root 3 by 2. So use these values, so you'll get the answer. Okay, so third one is also correct, Nadeep. Second one, still many of you are not getting correct, so I'll just work out the steps. So second question, magnitude of the vector A was 50 and the vector B was 100 and the angle between them was 120 degrees. Okay, so resultant has a magnitude of root of A square plus B square plus 2AB. Okay, so you use this value, substitute this here. Yeah, becomes this. Yes. 10 common, so I have 25 plus 100 minus 50. So 50 root 3 should be your answer. Okay, simple enough. And when it comes to alpha, b sine theta, so that is 100 sine 120 upon a plus b cos theta, so that is 50 plus 100 cos 120. So again use those values. So this is 100 into root 3 by 2 upon 50 plus 100 into minus half. So there's a 0, so that means it is undefined. Okay. So tan alpha is undefined, implies that alpha is 90 degrees. So you can also get a little bit of idea about the geometry of these two parts by just drawing simple triangles to understand. So the first part, you had magnitude of A is equal to magnitude of B, equal to 20 units each, but the angle between them was 60 degrees. This was A, this was B. So the resultant was becoming this side, was becoming 20 root 3 in magnitude, and this angle alpha was becoming 30 degrees. So this is what your vector triangle was looking like. Similarly, in the second part, what your vector triangle will look like is something like this. This is your vector A, let's say, which is of magnitude 50. So in comparison, vector B will be somewhere here because this angle has to be 120 degrees, and this is of magnitude 100. So now your resultant of the two is becoming this vector. This is A plus B. So it's coming out to be 50 root 2, and this angle alpha is coming out to be 90 degrees. Yes, very good, Siddharth. That is correct for the last one. 80 root 3 is the correct answer. And what about the angle? Okay, so let's come to the third part. Okay, so here you should be getting the magnitude. E square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Cos 53 we had seen last time was 3 by 5. Sin 53 similarly is 4 by 5. And tan 53 is 4 by 3, because this is the related triangle. So this is the relationship. Okay, so anyway, using that over here, so this becomes 40 into 3 by 5 Okay, so that's that. And then tan alpha is b sine theta upon a plus b cos theta. That is 100 into 4 by 5, sorry, upon 20 plus 100 into 3 by 5. So 60 upon 20 plus, sorry, 80 upon 20 plus 60. Okay, that's 1. So tan alpha equals unity means alpha is 45 degrees. Okay. If you were to draw the vector triangle, it would look something like this. This is your vector A of magnitude 20, and comparison something like this for vector B. So the resultant of A and B is this sort of a vector. So it's coming out to be of magnitude 80 root 2, and this angle is coming out to be 45 degrees. Okay, so hope with these three examples it's fully clear the application of the triangle law for the sum of two vectors. Okay, so hope all of you have finished these questions and understood. Okay, now next up we will understand vector addition by component method. In fact, we'll understand both. So this is very simple. So if vector E is given in component form, with components ax and ay, and similarly vector b is also having components bx and by, then the resultant sum of a and b we can calculate by just substituting a and b in component form. Okay. And then just expanding this. So this becomes Ex plus Bx if you take I cap common, and Ey plus By if you take J cap common. So this becomes a very simple formula for the resultant sum of A and B. The resultant sum of A and B is the sum of the X components into I cap plus sum of the Y components into J cap. So for example, if we have the vector E as 10 I cap plus 15 J cap, and I have a vector B as, let's say, 20 I cap minus 5 J cap, then E plus B will become E is X component, which is 10, plus B is X component, which is 20, plus E is X component, which is 15, plus B is Y component, which is minus 5. So we'll have to make sure that we take care of the algebraic sign of the components here. So we are adding the components, but B's Y component is with a negative sign, so it will show up here with the negative sign. So this will ultimately become how much? 30 I cap plus 10 J cap. So that is now the resultant sum of A and B. Okay. So this is a very simple process and can be basically solved just like we have normal algebra. We use addition. During normal addition of multiple terms, we can take common terms. Similarly, we can take I cap and J cap common over here. Okay, people. So hope this is clear. Now, first thing that we can do from this is you can understand proof of triangle law formula using component method or using what we call component algebra. When we express vectors in component form and do algebraic operations, it is called component algebra. So this in itself becomes something very convincing for us. Let's understand. So suppose we had a vector E like this and a vector B like this. This angle is theta and this is B. Okay. So now the first step you can do is suppose we assume vector E is along the x axis. So that means my x axis has to be defined in the same direction as vector A. So this is my x axis and therefore this will become my y-axis. Just a moment. So in this xy system, okay, I'll now have to define my vector A along the x-axis, so it will be like this, and I'll have to define my vector B, whatever it was, doesn't matter, like this, and E like this. This angle is theta. So the moment I define the vector E along the x-axis, it will also imply that vector B is at theta with respect to x-axis. So therefore I can represent the vector A as its magnitude along the x-axis, and the vector B as having x component B cos theta and y component B sin theta. Okay, very simple. I'm given two vectors A and B, the angle between them is theta, तो मैंने assume कर लिया कि x axis is along the vector E. So automatically y axis being perpendicular to it, it means that B's components are becoming B cos theta and B sin theta, because whatever is the direction of E, that I've taken as my x axis. That means whatever is the direction of B, that is making an angle theta with respect to the x axis. So that means the components of B are B cos theta and B sin theta. So therefore now what is the vector E plus B? It is the sum of the x components, that is E plus B cos theta I cap, and the y components, so that is 0 plus B sin theta j cap. So in other words, the vector A plus B is having an x component of this much and a y component of this much. So magnitude of A plus B is just going to be magnitude of this x component whole square plus this y component whole square. So next up, if we just concentrate on the algebra here, expand this, okay, and then expand this also, so we get this kind of term. Now use the identity, the universal identity, that cos square theta plus sine square theta is unity. So see this here, and you will see that this becomes root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So that is the proof of the first part of the formula. Okay. And the second thing you can see, and for the direction of the resultant a plus b, for that part you can see that the resultant a plus b is again having some x component, okay, plus some y component. So you can think of this whole thing as the x component and this whole thing as the y component. So obviously if that vector, if that resultant vector a plus b is making some kind of an angle with the x axis, this angle is alpha, okay, then obviously you can see that this is the y component, this is the x component. So tan alpha should be nothing but the y component of that vector divided by the x component of that same vector. So that is nothing but b sine theta upon a plus b cos theta. So we have that standard formula, tan alpha is b sine theta upon a plus b cos theta. So this becomes the proof of the, okay, this is also proof. Okay, so this collectively becomes the proof of the formulae of triangle of vector addition. Okay. Okay, people, so hope this is clear. So let's work out some examples now. So this is vector A and vector B. Let us say like this. 25 units. Okay. So just work this out quickly. Yeah, so I'm waiting for the answer, people. Anybody got? So the first thing, expressing the vectors in component form, you should be getting the vector E as 25 root 3 I cap plus 25 j cap. And as you can see, the vector B is minus 25 j cap. Okay. So this is the first thing. Express the vectors in component form. Now the next thing is you have to find the sum of the vectors, the resultant. So just use normal component algebra to add them. So the resultant will have an x component of 25 root 3 for A plus 0 for B, and y component of 25 for A minus 25 for B. So you can see that the resultant is just becoming this. Okay. And the magnitude of the resultant therefore is just 25 root 3. Okay. Okay, people, so hope this is clear. Now with this we will move on to some example questions from assignment 1, which I have sent to you last time. So first of all, do you have any doubts? Let me know if you tried any questions and have doubts from assignment 1. Okay, okay. Okay, part 3, we'll start with question number 9. Yeah, Akash, I've understood that you have already solved. So in that case, Akash, you can also start with some of the questions from the exercise of your module. Okay. So from the vectors module exercises, you can start with some questions, or even some questions from your physics textbook for college. Okay. Right. So let's look at question number 9. So question 9 we can do like this, that it says that the resultant of two vectors P and Q is R. Okay. And also it shows that if we add, so first of all, if we reverse the vector Q, so minus Q is a vector which comes from reversing the direction of the vector Q. Okay. So in other words, magnitude of minus q will be the same as magnitude of q, okay, but its direction is opposite to q. So in other words, if your vector q is, let us say, like this, the vector q is something like this, okay, then the vector minus q will become reverse of this, okay. So it will be a vector that has opposite direction and same magnitude. This will be, okay, so this angle will be 180 degrees, which means now this angle will be theta, okay. So basically what this means to say is that if your vector q is, suppose, q cos theta I cap plus q sin theta j cap, then the vector minus q is minus of, okay, so it is minus q cos theta I cap minus q sin theta j cap, okay. So this is the meaning of that vector minus q. Now what we have to do is that additionally it is given to us that r is the vector that we get when we add the vector p with the vector minus q, okay. So this is given and this is given, oh sorry, s is the vector, my mistake, r is already that one, this is the vector s, okay. And from these two statements what we have to prove is that we have to prove that if you take the magnitude of r and square it and take the magnitude of s and square it, it should come out to be 2 times p square plus q square. So I'll tell you one simple way of doing this question, okay. Simple way of doing this question is that suppose the vector p is taken to be along the x-axis, that is x-axis is taken along the vector p, okay, and q is just like we've assumed in the above diagram, okay. So q is q cos theta I cap plus q sin theta j cap, okay. So additionally I'm just saying that the vector p in this diagram should be along the x-axis. So rest this diagram is the same, but I'm just now assuming that the vector p is some arbitrary vector of magnitude p like this, okay. So from this we can see that the vector r, which is p plus q, is in component form, it is like this, okay. So in magnitude it is this, sorry, 2pq cos theta, we know this, okay. But now we can also see that in component form, from this we will get that minus q is a vector minus q cos theta I cap minus q sin theta j cap. So from that we'll know that the vector s, which is p plus of minus q, is nothing but p minus q cos theta I cap plus, or rather minus, q sin theta j cap. This is your vector s. So from this what you do next is you find out the magnitude of s, and then calculate r square plus s square. Calculate that by using this equation on the one hand, and whatever you'll get here. Okay, so calculate this by squaring the two equations. Take equation 1 square and add it to equation 2 square and see what you get. So you should be able to prove this. Okay. Yeah, Navdeep, I'll come to question 5 also. But part 3, you understood this method so far? Okay, good. So just try this out, finish off these steps. All right, so hope the steps are clear in this. Oh, sorry, I'll scroll up. Just a minute. Okay, so when you do these steps, when you come to this step here, this will come out to be, ऐसा आ जाएगा. So you will get the magnitude of s to be square root of p square plus q square minus 2pq cos of theta. Okay. So now when you compare equation 1 and 2, so now next from that you can see, take equation 1, square it and add it with equation 2 squared. So you will get on the left hand side r square plus s square. And on the right hand side, this term inside the square root added with this term inside the square root. So you'll just get 2 times p square plus q square. Hence proof. So this is the working principle here. Okay, now let's come to question number 5. So if we go through the language of question number 5, the question is trying to say is that something like this. You have a carom board of given dimensions. It's a square, okay, which is of 4 feet by 4 feet. Okay. And now you have the carom coin, which is the queen coin, sitting at the center. Okay. So this is the carom coin which is initially sitting at the center. So these are the two side bisectors. Okay. So let's say you want to pocket this coin to this corner. So each of the corners has these pockets. So let's say this is PQRS. But we want to pocket it by a rebound shot. Okay, so what we want is that the path that this coin should take, yeah, what we want over here is that it should take a rebound shot like this. So it should take a path like this. Okay. Okay. Now the hint to you is that the rebound will be like a reflection. It will be like reflection of light. So it will follow this principle that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So if the rebound is happening like this, then this angle should be equal to this angle. Okay, so that means over here we drop a perpendicular, then this angle should be equal to this angle. So that is the same thing as saying that this angle is equal to this angle. Okay, so now if you just label these additional points, let's say the midpoint of the side RS is T and the point where we are aiming is L or something like this. Okay, so now you look at this triangle, okay, and you look at this triangle and you'll realize they are similar triangles. So triangle, this is the center point C, let's say. So CTL and triangle QRL, they are similar triangles, right angle triangles in fact. Okay, so now in this you can also see that this side is 2 feet, okay, and this side is obviously 4 feet, okay, and if you take this side to be x, then this is becoming 2 minus x because the sum of these two is again 2 feet. Okay, so x by 2 has to be equal to 2 minus x by 4, or 2x has to be 2 minus x, or x has to be 2/3 of a foot. Okay, and 2 minus x will become 4 by 3 times a foot. So now you can solve all this. Okay, so you want to find out, you want to find CL, that length. So CL will become square root of CT square plus TL square. Okay, so that is nothing but in my diagram. See, so that is square root of 2 square plus x square. So substitute the value of x here. Okay, so substitute from equation 1 the value of x. Okay, and similarly you want to find LQ. So in that triangle you can see LQ is nothing but square root of base square plus perpendicular square. You just substitute this here, so you'll get this. Okay, and you also want to find the final displacement, so that is CQ. Now that's very easy, that is just half the diagonal of the square. So that is half of the diagonal, so that is half of 4 root 2 or 2 root 2 feet. Okay, and similarly you'll get these also when you substitute. Okay, so hope this is clear to all of you. This is more a geometry problem. Okay, it's just the visualization part which you have to think like vectors. Displacement vector is the line joining the initial and final position. So the displacement from the initial position at the center to the rebound point in front is nothing but the line CL. Similarly, the displacement from the rebound point on the front to the pocket on the backside corner is nothing but LQ in my diagram. So you have to find this. Rest of it is just plain geometry. Okay. So this was more like a puzzle question, not so much about formula and all that in vectors. It's just about visualization in 2 dimensions. Okay, so hope all this is clear to you people. So we will conclude our session here today. Okay, and if you have any other doubts while you're solving these questions, you can always drop me a WhatsApp message. I will send you some similar hints and you should be able to solve. And then even if after all that you're not able to solve, just let me know. In the next lecture we will discuss those particular questions. And also next lecture we will discuss about three-dimensional vector components, that is using XYZ coordinate system. And also we'll discuss about difference of two vectors, like we've done a plus b, like that, how to find out a minus b. Very simple actually, it's just like we have done component algebra today, similar method. Okay, so that's it for today's session people. Okay, wish you all the best till the next session.